Hey, how you doing? This is Ed Gray doing my thing. It's early Tuesday, election day, primary day in Texas. When's this stuff ever end? It's a good thing, but I love politics. I love politics. I love politics because it gives you hope. And I also love politics because it's hypocritical. It really is. We vote for either two things, hope or hate. We either vote because we hope things are going to get better, or we vote because we hate the way things are. And that's generally speaking how we're voting in Texas today. Hope and hate. Kind of reminds me of that deal a couple years back, more than a couple years back, do the right thing with love and hate. Love KOs hate. We like to believe that love KOs hate, but oftentimes hate wins. It always wins, it seems like. It's won a lot in America because we wouldn't be like where we're at now. Like number one, right? Number one in the country. Number one in the world, rather. Our country has done so many things that have been so great, but we've also done some things that have been sponsored by hate. We're now engaged in a war against Iran, in which we say that Iran is about a hate-filled country, but yet we're the ones who bombed them first. Sort of like Tupac Shakur, bombed first. But, I want to digress from that geopolitical statement that I just made and drill down to Texas, where we celebrated our Texas independence again. But this being said, this polling that we're going to do, this electioneering that we've encountered today, has been so strange because now what we've now encountered is that we have a situation in which Texas can in turn blue from red, because we've seen all of the people come out and vote. They're voting for Tallarico, or they're voting for Crockett. Not Davy Crockett, but Jasmine Crockett. But, they're voting, and as they're voting again on hope. But then on the other side, some people are voting again, their hope is maybe possibly other people's hate. Because you got Ken Paxton, you got Wesley Hunt, you got John Cornyn, and they all saying, hey, I'm more so on Trump's side than anybody else. So now as I'm saying this and I'm looking at this and I'm seeing this is again about hope and hypocritical nature that we all view our electioneering and our votes. I'm voting on hope. I'm saying the other party's hypocritical. The other party's saying I'm hypocritical, and they're voting on hope. But that's the way it is. We are in this situation all together. And it's a pretty messed up situation, if you ask me. It's messed up. It's messed up because how can we win? We always like to say that we're all in this together, but we're not. Because some people are at the top and some people are at the bottom. And that's how we are voting today. Yeah, I'm checking it out. I'm checking out the hypocritical nature of this whole thing. Democrats are going to the polls today to go against Trump. Yeah, that's what it is. This is really what it's about. And so you see the commercials that Tallarico says that I'm going against Trump. Jasmine Crockett says I'm going against Trump. We're all united. We're all in this together. But then you end up having some white progressives say, black people, if you're voting for Jasmine Crockett, then you're really a racist. You're really a racist because you won't give Tallarico a chance. You're just voting your color. Ain't that a bitch? Now, I'm going to tell you the reason why that's a bitch is not because you said it, but because you want to employ that we do it. Because, see, white progressives will say that, but they will forget that when white progressives have won, they have won a lot of times off of black votes. Yeah, they have. But when it becomes our time, and when it's our time, it's always our time, because you always seize the time, as Bobby Seale once said. That's a Black Panther analogy. Go ahead and read the book. You must seize the time. And when you seize the time, you say, it's my time. So now as we seize the time, we now get this this plea for us not to do that. And it's also kind of funny about this whole thing, because it's kind of hypocritical again, because as I look at this whole nature of voting your color, which I don't agree with totally. I just don't agree with that. I agree with voting your interests. Now, I will say this for real. I will say this to my black Republican friends. I see you out there. I see you out there. Thank you for texting me earlier today. My black Republican friends, nothing but love for you. But, you know, when Trump says, I love you, and he ain't never said at Rudy's Chicken, never worried about his electric bill, you know, being so high that his mother can't be on dialysis, you know, when he does that, you got to vote your interest. So I go ahead and I vote against him. But while we do this and we see this as well, we see the big nature of the hypocrisy of this as well, because it is both hope and hypocrisy. Because see, black folk, initially, they wasn't for Barack Obama. They really wasn't. Oh, alert. I guess all of y'all said y'all were, but you wasn't. I was there in 2008, 2007, at the barbershop when I was getting my hair cut and everything, and put that part right there. So anyway, I was there at the barbershop, and I was like saying, because I'm in tune into politics, as you know, I said, Barack Obama's running for president. They said, who the hell's Barack Obama? I said, well, Barack Obama's that senator that did the 2004 keynote speech. Oh, the young brother. Oh, I ain't voting for him. I'm voting for Hillary. I'm voting for Hillary. Wait again, white progressive. See, there was a hook on that. You see how I did that? I talk in circles, but see, it's all right to talk in circles when you know the direction you're going in. So now, what ends up happening, again, it was hypocritical for us to go ahead and say, we're not going to vote for a black candidate in 2008 rather, because we assumed the white candidate was going to win. Most black people that year did exactly that at the beginning. It wasn't until white people in Iowa voted and they said, wait a minute, this brother may stand a chance. Yeah, you got to remember that. You have to remember that initially speaking, alert again, initially speaking, the black intelligentsia, that's the word I wanted to use this morning, the black power structure initially was not with Barack Obama. He really wasn't. It was hypocritical. Yeah. But then again, we voted on hope, because it was, again, hope that we could believe in. Because then, politics being what it is, Barack Obama won. Keep in mind that there were certain people in the civil rights struggle initially, they did not support Barack Obama. They later got on board, but they got on board because of white progressives in Iowa and other places that said they were going to vote for him. See, that's what I'm talking about, the hypocrisy. See, I'm a political scientist. See, a political scientist know this shit. I just want to go ahead and say those words because right now I'm not on the air. I just want to just go ahead and talk to you personally. I'm about to go in and get my physical therapy done because, you know, I'm still trying to come back and everything, but I never was gone because my mind was always here. So the hypocrisy and the hope that we have, the hypocrisy and hope that we all vote for, and we all vote for both ones. We just do. So when we do that, we have to go ahead and analyze and study these issues and be strategic with these issues. And strategic with these issues would mean that as I was walking to the polls, and I saw some of the people out there with their various candidates, and with various candidates, they had the slate cards. I'm looking at one now. So I'm looking at the slate cards, and people were pushing the slate cards, and some people were pushing these issues so hard, they was pushing it like they was pushing crack. So they was pushing it hard and everything, but I guess it's like a symptom that we have, a symptomatic issue that we have in which we go ahead and we push our candidates, but we don't push the issues. Pushing the issues mean that we know the issues. It's not because someone dresses better. It's not because someone looks better in a suit. It's not because we like the way they talk. You know, those same situations that they say about Jasmine Crockett. Let me go ahead and go and say this and then get ready to roll off into and do my thing this morning and get everything situated. But I digress here with the Jasmine Crockett. You know, they say, well, she talks so hood, she talks so ghetto and everything. What the hell you mean by hood and ghetto? If you are trying to attract and get a target role of people, you talk the way they would normally talk. Ghetto, hood, whatever. How many Texas politicians we hear say, that dog won't hunt? That dog just won't hunt. And when I see them privately at these big donor parties, they don't say that. They talk correct. But when they get out amongst the people in Amarillo and Lubbock, you know, they say that dog won't hunt. East Texas, the dog won't hunt. But now, behind the scenes, when they ask for $10,000, $2,000, the lowest I can go. But I prefer if you give 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. But if you have to, I'll take it. Hypocritical, isn't it? Hypocritical nature that we all engage in. It's sort of like The Godfather. Love that movie. It's sort of like The Godfather, right? When the senator comes in and he tries to shake down the mob. It's a scene where he tells Michael Corleone, he says, you know, I don't like your kind coming out here. And, you know, I want to give you the license, but you're going to give me a hook back on the money, you know, a kickback on the money. And Michael tells him, you know, we're all part of this same hypocrisy. And I want you to give me the license, but I'm not going to pay for a damn thing. Well, that's the hypocrisy that we find ourselves oftentimes in voting, because sometimes we don't know the issues, or if we do know the issues, we form a bad strategy. And then if the strategy fails, we blame the other side because they were more prepared. And we have to look and play this game in a longer form, more than just this election day. Because no matter who wins or loses tonight, there will be a tomorrow. And the same things will be happening tomorrow that I'm going to be complaining about today. These are the things that will happen tomorrow. SNAP benefits will be cut off. Some people will not be able to have transportation equity to get to the jobs that are so far out that it's going to take them all morning to get to. The price of gasoline just went up 40 cents overnight, despite the fact that gas was already at the gas station last night and they rose it up 40 cents overnight. Had not a damn thing to do with the Strait of Hormuz. None of that. The affordability that has been there or is not there, in which you have to go ahead and pay more for your cup of coffee in the morning time because we have these tariffs that's going on. Those are the things that will be there tomorrow, despite who we vote for today. But we have to hold them accountable. We hold them accountable. We hold them accountable despite the hypocrisy that exists. We hold them accountable. We hold them accountable because we have the hope that we as Americans are better than the day that we woke up to. And thank you for listening. Hope over hypocrisy. Love over hate. Take care, and don't forget, if you haven't already done it, go vote.